Well, good morning, everyone. It's 10 o'clock, ready for our agenda review for our meeting next week, and I'll turn it over to Tim.
Good morning. Thank you. Commissioner Howell, would you like
If you don't mind, I just wanted to share, I have a homeschool group that's touring county government today. They want to learn about what happens here. So behind me, we have Calvary Homeschool Fellowship government class. There are a number of students. We have Maddie, Rachel, Claire, Cora, Anna, and Cody. We're missing one, Axel, but we also have two of the teachers. It's Amy and Tracy. So I want to say welcome to our agenda review. And if you have any burning questions, let me know. I think that we probably won't have any questions, but if they have something, let me know. So I wanted to say welcome to our agenda review and hope you have a great tour today. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Howell. Appreciate it. And I also want to extend our congratulations for being here and learning more about Sedgwick County government. Thanks for being here. All right, Tim.
Commissioner Beatty had asked me to speak today at meeting the other side.
Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone. For county announcements, it is National Veterans and Military Families Month in November. So we have a short video on that. And then also we have good news from the Regional Forensic Science Center talking about their recent audit. I did want to take a quick moment to remind everyone that Sedgwick County is participating in the Veterans Day Parade tomorrow. Parade kicks off at 11. And also the Register of Deeds will be at Exploration Place, which is where the parade ends, and they will be filing DD 214. So they will also be on site. Last reminder is that we, Sedgwick County, are closed on Monday in observance for Veterans Day. But as always, emergency services are available by texting or calling 911. And that's all I have.
Thank you. As long as you're talking about the Veterans Day Parade, it will end at Exploration Place. And when you get there, while the wagon masters are cooking, there's going to be live entertainment there. And any veteran and their entire family can get into Exploration Place for free. And as you said, the Register of Deeds will be there. And if you're a veteran and you have not got a veteran ID card, they will fill that out for you. Just bring your DD 214. Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. We'll start with a set of minutes for review. We've got one proclamation declaring National Apprenticeship Week, and then we get into new business. The first item will be the grant application on behalf of the zoo regarding the new elephant boma. We talked about that at staff. Carrie will present that from finance.
Can I ask a question on that?
Sure.
I thought they were asking for 2.5.
This is the grant application. We've got another item that talks about the county's contribution.
Okay, so I thought it was dollar for dollar match up to 2. So I thought by us doing 2.5 that they were going to be able to apply for 2.5. They can get 2.5. They can get up to 5 from the feds if we do 2.5.
If we do 2.5, and they're asking for the $9.9 million. The match comes from Sedgwick, 2.5 from Sedgwick County, and then 2.5 from the Zoological Society.
Okay.
That's where the match comes from.
I guess I didn't fully understand it. Thank you for the explanation.
Sure. Next item is an interesting zone change request, and Scott's here. Scott was here. If there are any questions about that.
I'm hiding back here.
Thank you, Scott. Any questions about that one?
We'll have a lot of questions on Wednesday.
Okay. Understood.
Let me just throw this out there. I don't know for sure that I will be able to vote on that on Wednesday. I may make a motion to defer that for 2 weeks. And I say that only because I know it's a very complex case. And if we have an option to defer to not finalize our vote, I still want to do public hearing. But I'm not going to be in attendance physically. And I think this is really important. It's in my district. And I will be on some pain medication during the meeting. So I don't know that I should be voting at that time for something so substantial as this.
Look, how long can we defer it? There's a certain time frame we have to hear it.
On this type of matter, there's not really a specific time frame. I think it's more a reasonableness question and whether or not we're hindering the potential applicant. So common practice for deferral is to do for a set amount of time. So 2 weeks, you know, ultimately, if that were the will of the board next Wednesday, that would be permissible. We have seen deferrals on these items before.
Unfortunately, 27th is the 2 week mark that puts us into probably the December, first week of December, I'm guessing.
2 weeks, 3 weeks.
I will see how we're doing on Wednesday, but my guess is I might need to make a motion to defer. Thank you.
Item F is an island annexation request related to the city of Derby. That's pretty straightforward. Item G, Hope will present the quarterly financial report. Item H is a resolution ensuring quality of life spending by Sedgwick County government doesn't exceed the sales tax revenue from prior year. I think we've discussed that.
And because this was the date was picked out on a previous agenda, a previous meeting, I think we have to leave it on this agenda, but I probably will make a motion to defer this for the same reason. This is my resolution, and since I don't know how well I'll be able to argue on this one on a Zoom call, I think I need to probably make a motion on this one to defer it to the first week of December.
Okay.
Just defer it now. We can't vote now, and it was a vote. We picked this date on a motion in a previous meeting, so I don't know if we can defer it now.
Kirk Spence, Deputy County Councilor, it would be best practice if you address it next Wednesday.
And I'd rather just defer the entire explanation, the entire discussion. So I'd rather just on the onset of this introduction, make a deferral, motion to defer. And we'll discuss it at the next meeting if that's okay.
Item I is an action to identify voting delegates and alternates for the KAC conference that's coming up. And item J is report of bids and board of bids and contracts. Any questions about anything on the regular agenda? We have a very extensive consent agenda item or agenda.
Do we want to go ahead and talk about who we're going to consider for the delegates that do we want to talk about that earlier or just talk about it Wednesday?
That's certainly up to you, Commissioner. If you'd like to have that discussion now, that's fine.
Kirk Spence, Deputy County Councilor, I would recommend that the nominations and the voting themselves all occur on Wednesday.
All right. Thanks.
Starting with consent item K, a temporary easement to do some tree work next to the Public Works building. Item L is a resolution to revert or to grant responsibility to the Attica Township for some roads that are completed in Rachel Brook Estates. If there's any questions about that, we've got Public Works here. Item M is an agreement for engineering services to be provided by our Public Works Department for improvements in Derby. KDOT is paying 80% of the cost associated with that. Item N is a zone change request in an area near Hayesville. MAPC approved at 10-0 and Hayesville Planning approved at 6-1. So that's why it's on consent. Item O is an affiliation agreement with Rainbows United and the CDDO for services there. Item F is an agreement for the Department on Aging with Southwest Kansas CPAAA. The VA in July of this year signed a master service agreement with Southwest Kansas for services to veterans by all of the AAAs in Kansas. And this is our subcontract between CPAAA and Southwest Kansas. It allows us to be paid for those services. Item Q is an annual renewal of a grant application for rural transportation between KDOT and Department on Aging. There are a number of ComCare requests. Next, item R is an agreement with Pixius to continue to deliver services. They've been a partner with ComCare for many, many years, delivering a couple of different services to primarily to children. Item S is a grant, there is the annual funding agreement between the Health Department, Sedgwick County Health Department, and the Child Advocacy Center. So, or I'm sorry, through the Child Advocacy, that's with ComCare. Item T is an affiliation agreement, annual renewal with Dr. Shaw, who provides rounding services for ComCare patients that are inpatient. Item U is to accept a grant award to pay for a data warehouse service. So we've got state funding that will go towards a data warehouse that manages statewide CCBHC data. And we receive funding from the state to pay for that service. Item B is an opportunity for ComCare to deliver services and accept payment from city liquor tax funds. So it's primarily assigned by the city municipal court, but services that ComCare will deliver and then be reimbursed for. Item W is an agreement with DECA for respite care. Again, the contract with ComCare, DECA provides two specific services, respite and family resource care, and ComCare reimburses them for those services. Item X is it reallocates a number of different positions. The health department has about 30 positions that are split funded between local funding and grant funding. And this realigns those splits after the new state fiscal year started in July.
None of these are ARPA funded.
No, none of these are ARPA funded. That's correct. Item Y, adult detention facility. It's a CIP amendment that will allow, it will align work for, to use a crane one time to bring equipment in and out. We need to replace dryers in the detention facility laundry area. And so this moves the dryer project up so that we only have to rent the crane once. Item Z is an ARPA contract. It extends the contract with bids for additional legal services, the second chair to again help with court backlog. That extends the contract through November of 2026. And that is ARPA funding for that. Item AA, we touched on briefly. That's the funding agreement for the $2.5 million match that we would make to the county's elephant project, BOMA project. And item AB is a funding, it's a grant application, Regional Forensic Science Center seeking funding for some additional equipment from the Kansas Department of Transportation. Item AC is adopting some policy changes, updates that Team Justice approved back in October at Department of Corrections. Item AD is adoption of the bylaws for the Emergency Communications Community Advisory Board. Item AE is a resolution adopting the holiday calendar for 2025. AF is
Let's wait on AE for a second.
okay.
It's been one that I've had concerns about for the last couple of years, and I don't know if it belongs on consent.
Okay.
I agree.
Like us to move that to new business.
I would.
All right, we can do that. Item AF is some cleanup language. Sheena has sent you information. We're briefed all of you about that. Cleanup language on 4 or 5 different county policies, addressing timeline, updating timelines, language, and some forms. And then once we get to AG through AL are some routine general business functions. Any questions about the BOCC agenda?
Don't see any. Thank you.
Okay,
We've had executive session.
Yes, we do have a planned executive session.
Accommodate me. You accommodate me remotely for that?
and
Yeah,
upstairs.
we can talk with staff and work out something, I believe.
I appreciate the accommodation. Thank you so much.
Could be able to have it upstairs here on the 6th floor.
Right.
That would work.
There is a fire agenda. The consent items mirror personnel policy changes, the holiday
I need to
adoption.
move item C up
Okay.
to business.
And then the other item on new business, or I'm sorry, they're all on consent there. So any questions about the fire if we move that item up to new business? Any other questions about fire?
I guess I'm just curious. Holidays don't make a lot of sense when you talk about public safety officials because they're working anyway. They don't get time off. They work their normal shifting just basically happens. I guess my point is this. I know we talk about traditionally 11 holidays. This time, probably, I think 12. The question is, does that even make sense with the fire district having holiday? I guess the same holiday policy, rather than just simply pay them 12 days worth or 11 days worth of pay.
You have administrative staff in each of these public safety departments that would fall under these holiday policies. They
Okay.
don't work the shift work and.
All right.
I think it
And I
makes
know that
sense.
this might be even more interesting this year because they just changed to a 4 to 8 on policy, I guess.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not sure we've actually been talked about that too much here, but I'm aware of it at least.
Yep.
So how does that work with the holiday issue?
It's not going to have any impact on the way that we pay. Doesn't have any impact on payroll at all. It's just it's a management issue.
I think for firefighters that are on the I don't what do you call that shift where they go 24 hours or 48 hours on? What is there a way to describe that? The adjective I should use here? Type of pay plan that is.
No, I don't know what words you're
I
looking.
mean, ultimately, what we're doing in this case, we're paying them extra salary because
Right.
if they're off, they're off. If they're on, they're on. But they get the pay. Really, what we're talking about here.
They get holiday pay for working during a holiday.
Well, they get paid for working the holiday anyway.
Right.
But my point is that really what we're talking about is really it's a payroll benefit that goes into their paycheck, but their shifts really don't change because they have to be same coverage.
I think if you maintain a holiday list for them, that gives clarity on the rate of pay for that particular day of the month or that particular day during the year. That's probably a conversation we need to have more with Sheena and maybe with Doug. But I think if they have a holiday schedule, then they know which days are designated as county BOC approved holidays and their pay is according to that holiday pay. And if they don't have a schedule, then that may get confusing, but I think it's a conversation.
Probably ought to have a conversation. I just view this as really 11 days worth of pay or 12 days worth of pay, how many other holidays they have. It's just a benefit they get paid out over the year.
And as far as their 40-hour employees, which include not just the civilian administrative staff, but the chief and the deputy chiefs and the fire prevention people, all those people that are on 40-hour pay plans would need a holiday plan because they will take the holidays off. They won't get paid for those. So
If we adjust the fire department, we're gonna have to look at every shift job that we have, EMS, fire,
that's a good possibility.
sheriff's department.
I think this needs to be a broader discussion with the human resources department, probably with our legal staff and then with our public safety department heads.
I think that's a bigger.
It might be a bigger discussion, but I do think it's interesting that we talk about holiday pay like it's really a day off. It's really not a day off. These folks working just like they do it. Every one of those public safety departments works every one of those holidays just like they do normally. So it's kind of an odd thing. Really, what we're talking about is a pay benefit primarily. We should talk about this maybe more broadly. I agree.
It is a bigger question.
I agree.
Anything else, commissioners?
All right, commissioners, anything else we need to bring up today? Staff have anything? Very good. We'll adjourn.
All right,
We
thank
all-
you.
and all have a good Veterans Day holiday. Thanks.